This is Tales of the Twisted, true stories of the strange, weird, bizarre, and eerie. And the following story has all of that and so much more. A man dies, but the story obviously doesn't end there. Because in a case unlike almost any other in American true crime history, the victim solves his own murder. This is the chilling, completely improbable, and deeply unsettling story of Charles Morgan, the man who solved his own murder. He knew he was going to die, not in a vague, superstitious way, not in a muttered, I have a bad feeling about this sort of way. He knew, with precision, detail, and certainty, that someone wanted him dead, and he knew exactly who it was. The man's name was Charles Chuck Morgan, a successful escrow officer living in Tucson, Arizona. He's a man with no known enemies, no criminal history. He was a family man, a husband, and a father of 4. And yet, he vanished. On March 22nd, 1977, Chuck left home to take his daughters to school, and he never returned. For 3 days, his family heard nothing. Then one night, out of the blue, he stumbled through the front door, disheveled, terrified, and unable to speak. His wife said he rushed inside, locked every door, pulled the blinds, and wrote a message on a notepad. Quote unquote, "They took my voice with a chemical." He claimed he had been kidnapped by people he couldn't name, and that he had been forced to ingest something that wouldn't allow him to speak for days. But there was something even stranger than his disappearance. He refused to call the police. Instead, he moved through the house, checking windows, peering through peepholes, and insisting that his family's lives were in danger. He wrote another message, "I know too much." But what did he mean? What could an escrow officer possibly know that put him in the crosshairs of killers? Over the next several days, Chuck regained his voice, but the fear didn't let go. He started wearing a bulletproof vest. He had a weapon in his car. He told his wife that if anything ever happened to him, she should look for a briefcase. Inside it, he claimed, were documents that would explain everything. But those documents were never found. Then, just 9 days after he returned, Chuck disappeared again. On June 18th, 1977, police received a call. A body had been found in the desert, laying face up beside his own car. Yep, it was Chuck. He had been shot in the back of the head. A single bullet, a .357 Magnum, point-blank range. Near his body was a pair of sunglasses that didn't belong to him. In his pocket was a piece of paper with directions. Directions written in his own handwriting that led directly to the location where he was found. Police initially concluded it was suicide. Yep, suicide. Despite the bullet wound being behind his head, despite no gunpowder residue on his hands, and despite the angle being nearly impossible for self-infliction, and despite the fact that no gun was found at the scene. But the story only gets stranger. Inside his car, investigators found weapons, a bag filled with ammunition, several sets of handcuffs, a fake policeman's badge, and most disturbingly, a note written in Chuck's handwriting. The note referenced Freemasons, Bible verses, and a list of people he believed were after him. And at the bottom, one chilling line. Quote, "The one who will kill me is standing behind me." The writing was dated before his death. It was as if Chuck Morgan knew the exact moment his life would end. But the strangest clue still to come. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this just sounds like the rantings of a madman. He's gone psychotic, but that's not the case. Weeks after Chuck's death, a woman calling herself Green Eyes phoned the morgue. She claimed she had been with Chuck the night before he died. She said Chuck had shown her a piece of paper, a confession, a prediction describing who wanted him dead and why. He had told her that, quote unquote, "I've done the best I can to solve my own murder." Police traced the call and it led nowhere. And Green Eyes, she was never identified. In the months after his death, an investigation revealed what Chuck had been so afraid of. He had been working quietly, secretly, with state investigators, not as an officer, not as an agent, but as a whistleblower. Chuck Morgan had been handling escrow transactions for high-level organized crime. We're talking land deals, fraudulent property transfers, money laundering, multi-million-dollar schemes across Arizona and Mexico. He wasn't a criminal, but he was surrounded by them. And the documents he claimed that would explain everything, they were concerning enough that, according to his wife, state officials later admitted that if Chuck knew what we think he knew, he never should have been left alone. But to this day, no one has been charged. And the case of Charles Chuck Morgan remains open. His murder unresolved, except by the man himself, because he left behind a trail of clues, diagrams, predictions, coded notes that point to a conspiracy deeper than anyone imagined. A conspiracy he sensed closing in. And though his killer has never been named in court, the victim made sure that the truth didn't die with him. Chuck Morgan remains in one of the strangest, most haunting true stories of all time. It's the man who solved his own murder, but technically didn't. You've been listening to Tales of the Twisted, true stories of the strange, weird, bizarre, and eerie. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the show, tap subscribe, hit follow, leave a comment, leave a rating wherever you listen. It helps me make more twisted stories, and those looking for twisted stories find us.